Tonight, how one student is financially supporting themselves through the pandemic.
Doing mail-in voting and what you need to know about that. Murrow News 8 starts now.
From the Northwest Public Broadcasting Studios on the campus of Washington State University, this is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Cameron Limes.
And I'm Welcome back to Murrow News 8.
Hurricane Delta is making its landfall later today. The Category 3 storm will hit the coast of Louisiana and Texas. The coast is expected to see maximum winds of 115 miles an hour. We'll have more coverage on that later.
COVID-19 positive rates continue to drop according to Pullman Radio. The rate for testing was just under 7% for the 2-week period ending Tuesday. Pullman Regional Hospital tested 500 people in the last 2 weeks and only 36 came back as positive.
As COVID-19 continues to isolate people, mental health concerns are on the rise. I went out and did some research. This is Sarah Hatchman. For the past 6 months, she's been dealing with a lot of uncertainty. Sarah's from Boston, and when COVID first hit, she was still attending work and school at WSU. Due to her roommate being at high risk, Hatchman had to quarantine and isolate. Her roommate had treatments at the local hospital, leaving Sarah alone for a majority of the day. With no live lectures, no family to reach out to, and no one in her home, she began to see some changes in her life.
I don't want to say that it made my anxiety any worse or my depression any worse, but staying home by yourself for about 19 hours a day, it's hard.
According to Medical News Today, isolation can cause depression, anxiety, and even suicide. These symptoms can set in just after a few weeks of isolation, but with COVID still raging, it seems like there's no end in sight. Now, when COVID first started and isolation hit, most of us thought, hey, just a long weekend, nothing to really worry about, right? Well, now, students have been stuck in small rooms like this for over a year now. It's starting to take its toll. But Hatchman does have some advice and knowledge on how to press forward. She told herself that all she needed to do was to put one foot in front of the other and make sure to keep pressing forward.
I could get sick, and that's just a reality that I have to accept, because ultimately the sun's going to rise today and it's going to set. I'm still going to have class. I'm still going to have work. I still have basic needs that have to be met. I still have friends that care about me. So regardless of all that, I have to move on. You know? You have to accept the uncertainty.
With Murrow News 8, I'm Cameron Limes.
Voting in Whitman County will start a week early this year, according to Pullman Radio News. County Auditor Sandy Jameson will be sending out most of the local votes by Friday. Vote-by-mail ballots must be turned into the Whitman County Auditor's Office postmarked by November 3rd.
Facebook will be broadening its ban on political ads after election night, November 3rd. According to CBS, the platform is going to crack down on all political ads to make sure a side does not declare victory prematurely or say the election is rigged. Zips Drive-In in Colfax was fined by the state of Washington for not following the governor's pandemic orders. Humayun, update us on how much and why Zips was fined.
Well, thanks, Cameron. Zips Drive-In in Colfax was fined around $1,800 by the Washington State Department of Labor and Industries for 3 violations regarding the governor's public health orders. The reason why they were fined is because the restaurant did not require customers without masks to wear one and did not have any visible signs that required customers to wear masks. According to the release from the Washington State Department of Labor and Industries, the business also did not put any social distancing markers for customers. Adding up more to this, 2 other Zips Drive-In restaurants in Spokane Valley and in Ridgeville were also fined by the state. In most of other labor and industry cases, the department's investigators with the business anonymously, and if investigators find the complaints are valid, staff contact employers to inform them of public masking requirements. At that point, most businesses agree to follow the rules. The State Emergency Operations Center's coronavirus reporting website received thousands of complaints regarding mask issues from businesses across Washington state. According to the release, since mid-July, Labor and Industries has conducted more than 4,300 checks at businesses from across the state. 8 state businesses were found violating the mask mandate and endangering their workers' health. The 3 other businesses were cited because employees violated mask mandate too. With Murrow News 8, Humayun Khurram, Colfax, Washington.
Of course, the pandemic has been hard on all of us, but one Washington State student has taken matters into her own hands, supporting herself financially through some savvy business and social media marketing. Murrow News 8 reporter Vayana Fair has the story.
I always like to find a way to recycle old textiles or old product garments and give them a new home and a new life.
This is fashion merchandising major at Washington State University, Ellie Erickson. Just a few months ago, she discovered how to turn her major into money using Depop.
Shirts, pants.
Depop is an online thrift store app that allows users to buy and sell clothing from other users. Erickson says that the app gives her real-world experience with the strategies and principles she's learning in her fashion degree. She handpicks items and groups them together into a drop that she releases every month.
I like to keep it around 17 to 23 garments per drop.
Before posting the items, Erickson styles and takes pictures of each piece in natural lighting. Erickson then creates a detailed description of each item and posts it on the app. After receiving responses, she says that she adds a personal touch to each item.
I spray it with my own scent so that when they open the package, it smells like either a familiar scent or a new scent that they can then retrace back to purchasing from my store.
Using unique marketing strategies like this is what sets Depop apart from other online markets. I've even gotten the chance to try Depop myself. Just last week, I purchased an item from a user. And today, I have a new pair of shoes. Marketing major at Washington State University, Heidi Russ, says that Depop is transforming the experience of shopping on your phone.
And it's just kind of amazing how all these new platforms are now integrating themselves into actual retail chains and also keeping that level of communication that you would get from a social media platform.
Erickson, along with young adults across the country, have mastered the art of using online marketplaces to turn their rags into riches. In Pullman, I'm Vayana Fair, Murrow News 8.
Medical groups team up to offer a drive-up flu vaccination clinic in Pullman. The Pullman Regional Hospital Clinic Network, SIDS Pharmacy, and Palouse Medical are partnering up to provide drive-up influenza vaccination clinics throughout October. The drive-up clinics will be held outside of SIDS Pharmacy at the hospital building itself. The clinics will be operated on Saturdays and Sundays in October, specifically October 10th for adults only. October 17th, 18th, and 24th will also be open for adults only. Clinic hours will be 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. and special hours are on October 18th from 12 p.m. to 3:30 p.m.
Troy volunteer firefighters were called to respond to a wildfire south of Troy on Thursday morning. The Lake Tahoe Sheriff's Office reported that the small fire was burning just inside the canyon on State Highway 99. According to the Sheriff's Office, this fire was apparently a holdover from a controlled ban that was conducted in the area.
And a fire north of Moscow on Monday night engulfed a large barn used as a commercial piano restoration business. The blaze was reported at about 8 p.m. on Foothill Road, about 3 miles north of the city limits. According to the Lake Tahoe County Sheriff's Office, an open flame kerosene heater was unplugged but left on a timer, igniting a blanket which was believed to be the cause of the fire. About 30 grand pianos, an antique guitar collection, a van, tools, and chemicals related to the business Grand American Piano were destroyed. Moscow Rural Volunteer Firefighters extinguished the blaze and no one was injured.
200 people gathered in Friendship Square for the third Psalm Sing gathering on Wednesday. The event was hosted by Christ Church in downtown Moscow. No arrests were made. Most of the people in the crowd were seen violating the city of Moscow's emergency pandemic orders requiring masks and social distancing. A press release was issued by officials on Wednesday warning the public to avoid Friendship Square.
Washington State University's first ever family weekend is being held virtually over the next few days. WSU announced last month that 2 annual family weekends would replace Dad's weekend in the fall and Mom's weekend in the spring. The event runs from Friday through Sunday.
The University of Idaho is celebrating their homecoming week this weekend. A virtual platform as well. The royalty will be crowned at 7:30 p.m. tonight on Facebook Live and fireworks Saturday night at 9:30 p.m. on Guy Wicks Field. The university chose Sweet Home U of I for the homecoming theme.
Read it. And with the rapid growth in Latah County, how are students adapting across the border? Murrow News 8 reporter Kylie Gibson met with faculty and students to learn more. Take a look.
We had some chapters come to us a few weeks ago and approach us about more members being symptomatic. A couple chapters actually went into self-imposed quarantine on their own and reached out to us, and so that's when we started doing some more focused sampling from the Greek community, knowing that there was spread.
The University of Idaho's Greek Row has seen a recent spike in COVID-19 cases. A few of their sororities and fraternities are currently in lockdown due to these spikes. The Sigma Chi fraternity is one of them.
We found out that we were getting tested. We thought about how many members we had living in, and for us that would be if we had 4 members test positive, we would go on lockdown. And we just thought, based off of the numbers that we had seen from around the campus, that we would end up going on lockdown.
Sigma Chi president Ethan Reeder said that Sigma Chi created an action plan in case they had to quarantine their members.
Following the action plan that we made over the summer, we have quarantined as many members as we can in the quarantine apartment of the people who tested positive. And then 2 people are also being quarantined off campus by the university, and then 2 went home. And so following our action plan, we are keeping the people who did not test positive and the people who did test positive separate to avoid the risk of cross-contamination.
Reeder said that the members who have tested positive are being held in one of their apartment-style rooms in the Sigma Chi house to ensure that those who are positive do not come in contact with those in the house who are negative. Ryan Pike says that his biggest concern with members being in quarantine is their mental health.
Mental health is definitely a big thing. Every year we stress seasonal depression, and being up in the Palouse already, just the weather gets super bad for a long time in the school year, and along with having to stay alone and not be around other people, that just makes it a lot worse.
Blaine Eccles also has concerns.
My biggest concern is students will feel they're all alone when they actually aren't. And we want to hear from them if they feel that way, so we can reach out and support them and connect with them too.
In Pullman, Kylie Gibson, Murrow News 8.
More on Hurricane Delta and what to expect in the Southwest.
And new released body cam footage from the Breonna Taylor case, what it shows and what we learned when Murrow News 8 returns.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Days, months.
Hey, I'm Jim from across the street.
Years.
I'd like to give you this.
A lifetime. Can rush by without realizing what we're missing. We lose some of the best moments, some that may never repeat.
Come on.
Or detach from people around us. Our loved ones grow used to this pattern. But it doesn't have to be that way. We have a choice to take action. It's never too late to live a full life again. Hear how many of us Vietnam veterans have managed our mental health and reconnected with our families. Visit MakeTheConnection.net to find out more.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Coming out of USA Today, Hurricane Delta is causing thousands of Lake Charles residents in Louisiana to evacuate. Mandatory evacuations are underway in Allen, Cameron, and St. Mary parishes. Hurricane Delta is forecast as a Category 2 storm. Meteorologist Benjamin Schott, leader of the National Weather Service's New Orleans station, said, quote, basically, if you live anywhere between Lake Charles and Lafayette, you can expect the worst of this storm, end quote.
Coming out of CNBC, President Donald Trump took to Twitter on Wednesday to announce that he wants American forces home by Christmas. President Trump's national security advisor, Robert O'Brien, gave a more realistic timeline for the U.S. forces. O'Brien said, quote, as of today, there are under 5,000 and that will go to 2,500 by early next year, end quote.
According to CBS News, Louisville police released body cam footage showing the night Breonna Taylor was killed. A police lieutenant who came to the scene following the shooting told investigators, quote, something really bad happened, end quote. The material released Wednesday includes more than 250 videos and more than 4,000 pages of documents. In one of the videos, an officer says, quote, we have to be mindful of what we say. We are on camera now, end quote. The center of this case is whether or not the search warrant for Taylor's home was valid or not. Police records show that the warrant stemmed from Taylor's communication with her ex-boyfriend, Jamarcus Glover, the target of a narcotics investigation. The new Louisville police chief is continuing her investigation of the incident, and the FBI's investigation of a possible civil rights violations continues.
President Trump shows he has no interest in a virtual debate with Democratic rival Joe Biden. The Commission of Presidential Debates scheduled a virtual debate for October 15th, a response to the president's recent positive test. Trump told Fox, quote, I'm not going to waste my time in a virtual debate. That's not what debating is about. You sit behind a computer and do a debate. It's ridiculous. And then they cut you off whenever they want, end quote. Have you seen a more beautiful start to October? Ariel is going to tell us how long we can expect it to last.
And how the athletic department plans to raise revenue without fans and what you can do to help when Murrow News 8 returns.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Well, October is rolling in, which means so is that colder fall weather. Era, what can we expect in the upcoming week?
That's right, Cameron. As far as I'm concerned, it's going to be the last sunny day for the next couple of days out here on the Palouse. Today, we're looking at a high of 73 and a low of 45 with mostly sunny weather and clear skies, so it's absolutely beautiful, but we are really experiencing that colder weather of fall. So bring your jackets wherever you're going if you're not social distancing. All right, we're heading into tomorrow, and we're going to see a high of 50 and a low of 37 with rain. So it's going to be really wet out here on the Palouse with 5-mile-an-hour winds and shorter days as the sunrise is at 7 a.m. and sunset is at 6 p.m. And heading into the state map, looking at our friends over in Olympia and Seattle, they're experiencing some cooler weather too, with highs in the 60s and lows in the 50s. It's a little bit rainier in Olympia than in Seattle. Heading into the middle of the state at the Tri-Cities and Yakima, we're looking at highs in the 80s for Tri-Cities, so they're a little bit lucky there, and lows in the 50s. And Yakima is looking at lows in the 50s as well. Partly sunny weather, a little bit cooler. And heading into Spokane and Pullman, we're looking at highs in the 70s and lows of 45 in Pullman, as I said before. So it's going to be a lot cooler, so make sure you dress warmly. Heading into the 5cast, we're going to look at quite a bit of rain, as you can see. Mostly in the 50s and mostly in the 30s Saturday through Monday. Tuesday it does warm up a bit, but we're still going to experience some rain, and we'll come out of that cloudy weather, with partly cloudy weather on Wednesday with highs in the high 50s and lows in the high 30s. And now that weather is going to be really, really cold, so make sure that you are warming up, bundling up, wearing those hunter boots, wearing those puffy jackets. That's all I've got for weather today. Cameron, back to you.
Coming up, Martin Stadium looks to sell out without fans. We'll explain next. And how one NBA player could make history with a win tonight in the finals. Murrow News 8 will be right back.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out."
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
The WSU Athletic Department has created a new fundraiser designed to recoup some of the lost funds from the pandemic. The Ready to Play campaign asks Cougar football fans to send some of the money that they would normally spend at Barton Stadium to spend it on a fundraiser for scholarships. The campaign has reached its goal of $42,300. We're still seeking more donations. Today is the last day to donate. Also, a fun fact about that campaign, that number of 42,306 is from the highest attended game at Barton Stadium ever, 1997. Nick Foles is beating Tom Brady once again with a fourth quarter comeback. The Chicago Bears beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Thursday in an offensive battle by a score of 20-18. Bears kicker Cairo Santos hit a go-ahead field goal with just over a minute left, but Tom Brady was unable to lead the comeback. The Bears are now 4-1, while the Bucs dropped to 3-2. Tonight, the greatest basketball player of all time could win his fourth championship. LeBron James and the Lakers will wear their black Mamba jerseys to honor the late Kobe Bryant and look to close out the series in 5 games. Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler look to extend this stay in Orlando tonight at 6. The Houston Astros advanced to their 4th consecutive American League Championship Series Thursday after beating the Oakland Athletics in 4 games. This is the first season since the Astros were caught cheating en route to the 2017 World Series Championship and 2019 World Series appearance. The New York Yankees will live to die another day tonight in Game 5 versus the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. In the senior circuit, the NLCS has been set. The Los Angeles Dodgers swept the San Diego Padres Thursday and will take on the Atlanta Braves for a spot in the World Series. The Dodgers are playing their 4th NLCS since 2016. The Braves making their first appearance since 2001. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Alex.
Now, Ari, I don't know about you, but I am a massive LeBron fan. I mean, the stuff he does on the court and off the court really speaks volumes, and honestly, I'm praying for the win tonight.
You know, I think that LeBron James is an absolute beast, and I cannot wait to see what he does in his future. He's got a huge future ahead of him, and I think he's just a phenomenal player. I'm really excited to see what he does this week.
Understandable. Up next, the beloved children's show, and see what message it's sending to kids. Murrow News 8, we'll be right back.
Days, months,
Hey, I'm Jim from across the street.
years,
I'd like to give you this.
a lifetime can rush by without realizing what we're missing. But it doesn't have to be that way. We have a choice to take action. Visit maketheconnection.net to find out more.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
They probably taught you how to spell, but now Sesame Street takes it a step further, teaching children to stand up to racism. The program will air a half-hour anti-racist special called The Power of We. Characters advising, when you see something that's wrong, speak up and tell an adult. Now, that is so cool. I'm honestly a massive fan of that. I know that when I was growing up, I watched a lot of Sesame Street. Grover was my favorite, the helmet and the cape. Can't beat that. But yeah, it's really cool to see them take a social stance or a stance on a massive topic like this.
I think it's so important, Cameron, especially for children. Children are so open to new learning experiences, and I think that, you know, using Sesame Street as a segue to saying racism is not a good thing, I think that's very important. Yeah, who's your favorite character again on Sesame Street?
Gromit, I think, or the one living in the trash can.
Oscar the Grouch was mine, especially once I got into
Oscar,
college.
there it was. I really connected with him.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and follow us on our social medias. And if you missed anything tonight, make sure to watch our YouTube.
And as always, please have a great night.